Welcome back to my YouTube channel. No, I'm joking. Today I just want to talk a little bit about motivation and, goals, that kind of thing. So a lot of my students come to me and say that they can't get started with, their assignments or revision. It's exam period at the moment, so a lot of them are struggling with revision and things like that. And their question to me is, how can I get started? How can I get motivated? And you know what? There's actually no simple answer to that because, motivation is not something that you can buy. It's not something that, you can click your fingers and you'll be motivated. It's a progress. It's something that you've got to work on. And, it's not something that comes or happens overnight. So I usually start by asking about their routines and their habits. And, if you know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the bottom tier of the pyramid speaks about making sure that your physiological needs are met. So things such as food, sleep, making sure that you're comfortable kind of thing, loving relationships, things like that, physiological needs. So if those things aren't met first and foremost, you've kind of got no real hope. I ask them about their sleeping patterns. What time are you waking up in the morning? The answer is usually, I'm not waking up in the morning, I'm waking up in the afternoon. Well, why are you waking up so late? Well, I'm not going to sleep until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So, making small changes to your daily habit is what will help to ensure that you're slightly more motivated. Get yourself into a routine. As much as, a lot of people hate routines, I myself, I'm not a big fan of routine, but having a routine helps you to stay motivated. It helps give you structure, it helps give you purpose. So, set your alarm for a reasonable time, 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock. If you know that you want to make the most of your day, set it for even earlier, 7 o'clock. When the alarm goes off, don't snooze it 5, 6 times. Get up, write yourself a list of all the things that you need to achieve for that day. 9 o'clock, I need to make sure I get showered. 9:30, have breakfast. 10 o'clock, do something else, whether it's going out and exercising, and so forth. Once you know what you need to achieve for that day, you've kind of got no excuses. There's no room for deviation. You've got it there in front of you, whether it's on your phone, on a piece of paper. Work your way through your list of tasks. They don't have to be major things. They can be very small things. I usually say to my students, start very small. If they haven't been eating properly, I say, make sure that you're getting at least one decent meal in for the day. Go out and get some fresh air for at least 5 minutes a day. Just very small tasks that are achievable. Going back to SMART goals, so making sure that it's realistic, it's achievable. Give yourself a time for it, like you want to achieve it in. Just very small, achievable tasks set for each day. And again, once you've achieved them for the day, that will help to reinforce, the motivation. Another thing I also say to some of my students who are lacking in motivation is to get them to think about their end goal. Like, why are you actually here? What is the purpose of putting yourself under all this stress and pressure for 3 years? What do you want to achieve at the end of it all? And, all of them will say, well, obviously I want to get a degree. I'm like, yeah, okay, so you want to get a degree, but what do you actually want to do with the degree? What is the purpose of getting this particular degree? And then, it kind of gets the ball rolling. They actually start thinking about, what their future will look like. And that in itself can be a motivating factor because they perhaps haven't really thought about it in much depth. They just think, I want to go to university, get a degree and get a job. Well, that's all good and well, but what job do you want to get? Why do you want to get that particular job? What is that going to mean to you? How is that going to make you feel? Can you see yourself actually doing it? I think it's really hard to be motivated if you don't have a purpose or an end goal. Like, what is the point of anything really if you don't have an end goal? So that's why I think goals are so important. You need to know where exactly it is you're heading to, what is your aim, what is your purpose, why are you doing what you're doing. And that is probably one of the best things that will, thinking about that will help motivate you. And visualization techniques, I always drone on about using vision boards and, writing down things, goals, but actually closing your eyes, seeing yourself doing what it is you want to do, that is probably one of the best forms of motivation that you can get. From when you can see it in your mind's eye, you can achieve it. You just have to put in the work. But, with all of this being said, it's not a case of, I have to be achieving something every single day, because that's obviously unrealistic. We're humans, we're allowed to have off days, we're allowed to have days when you don't want to get out of bed and do anything, you just want to chill. You need to give yourself a break as well and not be so hard on yourself, because at the end of the day, when you put too much pressure on anything, it's bound to, erupt. So apply enough pressure to get you to where you need to be, but don't apply so much pressure that if you don't get what you're aiming for, that your whole world falls apart. Always have like a plan B, a backup plan, something that you can fall back on if what you want doesn't work out. Then move on. It's about not saying you have to have low expectations, but you have to have realistic expectations and understand that things are forever changing. The only thing that we can be certain of in life, the only thing that's constant is change. So you got to be flexible as well and kind of roll with the punches. But yeah, I think those are probably my top tips for motivation. Goals, celebrating small wins, visualization techniques. What else did I mention? Yeah, just thinking ahead, thinking of what your purpose is, why you're doing what you're doing. And just constantly looking forward, but also making sure that you're giving yourself time. Give yourself time off, allow yourself to have breaks, and be kind to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Understand and remember that, as I said, you are only human, and sometimes you're going to feel like shit, and that's okay, because tomorrow's a new day. And get yourself into a good routine, form healthy habits. I think that's, if there was a magic pill for motivation, whoever invented it would be a billionaire, but unfortunately it has to come from within. So just keep working on you every single day, and hopefully with the right support around you and the right kind of guidance, then you should hopefully become, the best you that you can be, which is what we're all here for at the end of the day. So yeah, happy hump day.